The Laws of Ascension, Chapter 32, Eye for an Eye. The man stares at Lorik in fear as he approaches. He's still unable to move with the phantom wolf's head around him. His spear is still holding it in place, preventing it from biting down on him. Wait, we can talk about this. I'll pay. Just let me go, the man starts saying as Lorik gets closer. Lorik doesn't reply. He just keeps staring at his face with his cold smile on. He stops once he's right in front of the man. He reaches out and places his left hand with the phantom beast's arm on the man's spear. You know the saying, an eye for an eye? Lorik asks before ripping the spear from the man's hands. He drops it and slams his hand onto the man's mask. It cracks and he grabs his head, his palm covering his chin. As soon as he does, the phantom wolf bites down. He screams as the wolf's fangs dig into his flesh just under his armpits. His screams are muffled with Lorik's palm over his mouth. Blood starts leaking down the wolf's fangs. Lorik watches it and waits as the man pleads with him with his eyes, not that Lorik can see them with the mask covering them. It's not until the blood drips off the fang and to the ground that Lorik makes it open its jaw. The fangs tear out of his flesh, inducing more pain before the wolf's head disappears. What guild are you a member of? Lorik asks the man, still holding him by his head. The man's legs have gone limp, so if he lets go, he'll fall to the ground. The man tries saying, but it only comes out as a muffled shout. Lorik sighs before grabbing his cloak and opening it. The man is wearing a light red shirt with an emblem on the chest. It looks like a dark red sun rising over a battlefield. The Crimson Dawn Guild. All right, give me your storage rings and get out of here. Lorik says while letting go. The man falls to the ground, landing on his ass. The mask falls apart around his mouth, giving a clear view of his mouth and chin. You think you'll get away with this? I'll report this directly to the guildmaster when I get back, he says with a laugh. Go ahead, then you'll have to deal with the consequences, Lorik says while holding out the picture stone. He also taps his chest right on the emblem of the academy. The man stares at it for a moment, needing time since it's dark out. As soon as he realizes what the emblem is, his jaw falls. You, I, we, he starts before clenching his jaw. Here's what's going to happen. Lorik starts before reaching his hand out. You give me your storage rings. I'll take your buddy's rings. Then the three of you go pack your shit up. I've burned you and your buddy's auras into my memories. If I see you still here in the morning, you three are dead. Lorik says while his cold smile grows wider. The man stares at him for a moment before breaking out into laughter. Really? You kill us. You have no idea what you're saying. Killing a human is far different than a monster boy. The man says before Lorik kicks his chest. The man falls to his back and Lorik places a foot over his chest. He leans on it as the man coughs from the air forcibly pushed out. His soul sword appears in his hands again. This time, the blade grows longer and longer, stopping just before reaching the man's neck. I know exactly how it feels to kill someone, Lorik says quietly, his smile gone and his tone is icy cold. There's a dangerous glint in his eyes as he looks down at the man beneath him. And unless you want you or your buddies to join my list, give me your rings, pack your shit, and get the hell out of here, Lorik says, never once raising his voice. Yet to the man beneath him, Lorik's words were much louder than anything else he'd heard. Not even his panicked heartbeats, drowning out his thoughts, could compare. The man tries to speak, but he can't with Lorik's foot preventing him from breathing. He just nods, and Lorik reaches out. His sword disappears, but he doesn't move his foot. Ring, he says in the same quiet and cold tone, but the man hears it loud and clear. He fumbles to pull it off his right hand, but quickly gives it to him. See, that wasn't so bad, Lorik says while taking his foot off him. The man gasps for air and rolls onto his side. He continues taking deep breaths while waiting. He's not sure what for, but he feels he can't leave yet. Come here, he hears Lorik say after a minute. He jumps up and quickly runs over. Lorik is standing next to the other two men. He's taken their rings from them. One of them had 2, so he's holding 4 more storage rings now. I'll wake these 2 up and we'll be gone soon, the man says before Lorik can open his mouth. He waits to see Lorik's reaction before doing anything. Good, Lorik says, his cold smile returning to his lips. Oh, but keep it down. I don't want my team to worry over this. he adds as the man grabs one of the others. Understood, the man says before shaking him. After a few shakes, the second man comes too. He jumps up, but the first man quickly grabs his shoulders and makes a shushing noise. When the second man sees Lorik, he holds up his fists. Seeing this, the first man grabs his head and yanks him back. Don't, he shouts in a whisper. His tone is full of anger and fear. The second man looks at him confused before turning away. The first man grabs their weapons, and the second carries the third, still unconscious, man away. They return to their tent, just so the first man can explain things. Lorik keeps an eye on them, using his hunter's vision to look through the tent walls. No one else was awake to notice what happened. Lorik does check to ensure his teammates are still sleeping. After seeing they are, he breathes a sigh of relief. Not even an hour later, the three pack up their tent. There's a fourth with them, and the entire time they glare at Lorik. The fourth man tried to walk over to Lorik, but the first man who Lorik threatened grabbed him. He started yelling so much his face turned red. Lorik heard bits of what was said, but didn't care to listen to it. He kept his eyes on them, even after they left, using Hunter's vision. He didn't look away until they were out of his sight. An hour later, he goes to wake up Vera for her turn on watch. Before he did, he cleaned up the blood the best he could. For what couldn't be cleaned, he covered it with dirt by digging and burying it. He set up a small fire nearby to distract the others if they noticed the change in the ground. Lorik, Sarah says while shaking Lorik. He opens his eyes and she stands up. Time to wake up, she says before leaving the tent. Lorik follows her out and stretches once out. Good morning, Vera says while handing him a plate. It's full of scrambled eggs and bacon. Thanks and good morning, Lorik replies. Did anything fun happen last night? Sarah asks while sitting on a folding chair next to Rowan. No, but I did get to see a group enter the dungeon, Lorik says. Really? They went in at night? Rowan asks, surprised. They must have wanted to make the most of their time. There were 4 of them and they seemed well off. Lorik replies before Vera looks at the dungeon entrance. Do we enter the same as last time? Just walk into the blue light? She asks. Yeah. Are you all ready? Sarah asks while standing up. They all finished eating except for Lorik. Lorik scarfs down the rest of his food as the others pack up. He puts out the fire and douses it before they enter the dungeon. So much for staying clean, Vera says as they walk into the lake. The uniforms have cleansing stones, so they'll clean us once we're done. Rowan says, causing Vera to sigh. I know, but I hate the feeling of having mud stuck in my fur, Vera says as they get close to the dungeon entrance. Maybe you should get some specially made socks or something. If they're thick enough, they'll keep the mud out. Lorik replies. Yeah, but then it gets too hot. It's just something I'll have to deal with, Vera says before they stop in front of the entrance. Are you ready? Sarah asks. The others nod and she steps into the light. They follow her through and come out in a larger lake. Like the one they came from, it's only a few feet deep, but it's much wider than the last one. On the shore directly in front of them are 3 alligators. They're all 8 feet long and 3 feet tall. As soon as they appear, the 3 great gators notice them. They turn and enter the water before swimming toward them. With how shallow the lake is, they half swim, half walk. Rowan and Sarah both hold their hands out. Sarah throws 2 daggers made of light that appeared from a magic circle around her wrist. She throws them above the gators, and they curve to hit 2 of the gators between the eyes. Rowan creates a magic circle under the 3rd gator. 3 spikes made of stone shoot out of it and impale it from below. You don't need your chant anymore, congrats, Lorik says teasingly with a smile. Oh, shut it, Rowan replies as Sarah laughs. How nice is it? Is it everything you hoped for? She asks him, causing him to scoff and walk off toward the gators. The corpses are disappearing, and he gathers 2 crystals from them. Once they're on the muddy land, they look around. Only more lakes and mud can be seen. There are a few trees here and there. More great gators can be seen through swimming and walking around. So where should we go? Rowan asks while looking around. Let's stay out of the water. It'll be easier to fight on land, Lorik says. Yeah, as for a direction, let's go this way, Sarah says while pointing to their left. Why? Rowan asks. Just because, unless you have a better idea, your team leader is choosing the direction, Sarah says proudly and smugly. We never should have given you this power, Rowan says, causing Lorik and Vera to laugh. They start walking on the muddy land to their left, in between two lakes.